Ladies and gentlemen, the national anthem of Jamaica. Let us pray. Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day, the day that you have made, and we will rejoice and be glad in it. Today we invite your presence in the midst of this momentous event as we launch the book, Eyes on the Prize, and as we celebrate the author for his life lived in your grace. We thank you for the journey and the many people who played a part in it. Today, we bless your holy name and we say, let your kingdom come and let your will be done in Jesus' name. Amen. Your Excellencies, the Governor General of Jamaica, the Most Honorable Sir Patrick Allen, and the Most Honorable Lady Allen, Honorable Earl Jarrett, Miss Dorothy White, Major Retired Effiam White, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. My name is Effiam Zamal White, and I have the distinct pleasure of being your moderator this evening on this momentous occasion. I heard that it is Memorial Day weekend in the States, and I would like to believe that this event is very fitting, that we will always remember where we were on the May 30th, 2021. It brings me much joy and privilege to be your moderator this evening. And I thank all that played a part in making this event great. Without further ado, though, because we do have a packed agenda, we will start with our first presenter. It gives me great pleasure to invite Miss Dorothy White, my aunt and sister to the author, to offer her remarks on the book's preface and dedication.
Thank you, Mr. Moderator. Your Excellencies, the Governor General of Jamaica and Lady Allen, Honorable Earl Jarrett, Major Retired Effiam White, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. Everyone dreams, everyone has goals. Not all of us keep these dreams foremost. Not all of us achieve these goals. My brother Effiam has throughout his life kept his eyes on his goals. And this afternoon we share with him the fulfillment of his dream to write his life story. Our wonderful, wise, God-fearing parents, Eustace and Marjorie White, are both deceased, but their souls are hovering here, and they are elated at the accomplishment of their son. Brought up in a home where financial resources were scarce, but love of God, obedience to parents, obedience to teachers, love for each other abounded, Effiam fought the odds of the negative environment of the inner city and moved from the Central Branch Primary School to Woolmer's Boys School, then to the Jamaica Defense Force, the base that pivoted him and helped him hone his skills through all the achievements outlined in this engaging book, Eyes on the Prize. Following in the footsteps of our parents with their examples of dedication, of commitment, of determination, of forthrightness, of leadership, he has achieved both his dreams and his goals and has lived an exemplary life, hallmarked by its decency and commitment to giving back. The great Nelson Mandela said, "It always seems impossible until it's done." Effium has done. Congratulations, my brother. Our entire family is proud of this, your latest achievement, the book, Eyes on the Prize. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Dorothy White. I'll now introduce a series of pre-recorded video messages where there people from different parts of Dad's life speaks with regards to Eyes on the Prize. We will start with Dr. Carl Aiken, the author's schoolmate at infant, primary, and high school, to share his endorsement.
Thank you, Mr. Moderator, Your Excellency, the Governor General of Jamaica, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, a very good afternoon to you all. It's my great pleasure and honor to be asked to participate in this virtual book launch today, covering the very early years. So Effie and I are old friends, and when I say old, I mean old. And I promise Effie not to disclose the details. So it was at Central Branch Infant School, as it was called then, on Sliping Road, that I first met this little boy with the very curious name. I'll always remember Effie arriving at the same time every morning, dismounting from his father's bicycle. I can recall spending most of our time as little kids romping our heads off during recess, and the gentle efforts of our unforgettable teachers like the Mrs. Brown, Inez, and Olive, and Miss Nicholson, who we call Miss Nick, trying to get some reading and writing through to us. And then it was off to big school across the property with headmistress Mrs. Rod and Miss Bell. Students and even some teachers lived in trepidation of Miss Rod. And those are great days, mostly of fun and games. We reconnected in 1961, and then we moved by free place to Woolmer's Boys School by race course. And there again, we came under the influence of great teachers of that time, including Mrs. Isaacs, Mrs. Mills, and Mr. John Wood, deputy headmaster. It was at Woolmer's we realized that our friend Effie had the most incredible laugh, and it was full of pranks. Effie was often the lookout for the arrival after the lunch break of Mr. Wood, and he tried his best to teach us Latin while we were in third and in fourth form. Effie would shout out, "Silva Mahoy," which simply meant that Mr. Wood was not very far away, and we would all madly scramble to our seats. So we had the appearance of innocence when he entered, if only he knew. But Effie really came to prominence in the cadets and was made genuinely famous when he and Cleveland Harris were the first two schoolboys in the entire country to win their private pilot's licenses. Now, nobody at Woolmer's at the time will ever forget the rumor, the hot rumor that day that Effie was going to fly over the school during assembly just before prayers. That morning, all eyes were focused to the northeast, much to the puzzlement of all our teachers who was wondering, why are the boys looking in that direction? And then here comes Effie tearing along in his little Cessna 150, but to us it seemed like a 747, waggling the wings and well below regulation height, I must tell you. This event, as we say in Jamaica, mashed up the morning prayers as every boy jumped up and down cheering like crazy, including me. But who would have known that this was a taste of things to come? So if you're my friend, here's a great big congrats to you on your book. I know it's going to be good reading. And I must say that I'm very glad to be among your old friends. God bless you, and thanks for listening.
Thank you, Dr. Aiken. Major retired Dudley Beek was a year ahead of the author at high school and also learned to fly, received officer training at the Royal Military College, Sandhurst, and served in the JDF Air Wing. We invite him to endorse the author and his book via the video message.
Thank you, Mr. Moderator, Your Excellency, the Governor General of Jamaica, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, a very good afternoon to you all. Effie first came to my attention when he joined the Woolmer's Cadet Corps. He had an immaculate uniform, but it was topped by a huge beret, which appeared to go down to his shoulders in the style of the French Alpine troops. He also was a very good shot and became an outstanding member of the daily trophy competition team. A couple of years forward, we were reunited together again when he went to England to go to the Royal Military Academy at Sandhurst. As a Jamaican and as his senior, I had to kind of keep an eye on him. And one week I noticed that Effie was regularly on punishment parades in the afternoon. I asked one of his seniors in his company, what was the problem with Effie? You know, is he getting into problems? And he said, well, over the weekend there was a inspection of his quarters. And unfortunately, inspecting his locker, a dead fly was found inside this locker. And Effie was, as punishment, was given 2 days extra parades for keeping a pet and was given 3 days for failing to feed this pet. We reconnected again when Effie joined the Air Wing, where we served together until November 1977 when I left the regular Air Wing to become a crop duster. What has always struck me about Effie was that he was always busy and gave a lot of his time to help others, such as instructing young civilian pilots and editing and producing the Altimeter magazine. In his personal life also, he is also very busy. Just married, he started building his house in Keystone Heights near Spanish Town. He would drive to the construction site, often carrying materials or supplies to his workers before reporting to work in the Air Wing at 07:45 hours every morning. And the evening, often after a long day of flying, he would return to the construction site to inspect that work which was supposed to be done during the day. This is the kind of person my friend Effie is, always willing to help, always willing to assist others in need. It's my pleasure advertising this book for Effie, and I hope you all will go out and buy a copy, and I know it will be a really good read, especially into the life of our friend Effie.
Next, we have Captain Retired Maria Zaidi Haddad. She's had a distinction of being, or holds the distinction, I should say, of being the first female pilot hired by Air Jamaica in 1979. First female captain of the then National Airline, and retired from Atlas Air as a Boeing 747 captain. Let's welcome her endorsement.
Thank you, Mr. Moderator. Your Excellency, the Governor General of Jamaica, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. I have known the author Effiam since 1978. We were introduced by the late Carl Barnett at Wings Jamaica, where I worked as a flight instructor. I, on the prize, was a refreshing walk down memory lane when I read the chapters on his aviation career. The one on the iconic national carrier Air Jamaica was particularly touching to me. It was there that we met again and worked together for many years at the Jamaican Airline Pilots Association. I highly recommend this book, as I know of no other that captures both the military and civilian career path of a pilot that served in the Jamaica Defense Force and subsequently worked with Trans and Air Jamaica. It is nostalgic and detailed with beautiful photographs. Definitely worth a read and would be a welcome addition in any literary collection.
Next, we have Rotarian Alva Wood. He's the current president of the Rotary Club of Kingston, where the author is a member. It is my pleasure to invite President Alva to endorse the author.
Thank you, Mr. Moderator. Your Excellency, the Governor General of Jamaica, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. There's danger in a single story, and Chapter 10 avoids this pitfall by unearthing another layer of multifaceted life exploits of the author, past President Major Ephraim White. It provides enlightening details of service above self pursuits during PP Ephraim's 16 years in Rotary. Further, it documents his term as president of the Rotary Club of Kingston. The accomplishment in his year in embracing humanity through relationship, partnership, and participation holds true meaning for me as the current president of this noble club. The life of a Rotarian is one of many stories, as PP Ephraim has so expressively chronicled. The chapter expertly narrates the opportune use of his vocation in the furtherance of international service to Rotary. The narratives paint a picture of PP Ephraim's life in the cockpit and the seamless integration of Rotary, be it for forming new relationships, reigniting partnership with global clubs, or participating in club twinning events. PP Ephraim in Eye on the Prize truly shows how to reach within to embrace humanity, open doors of opportunity, and remain people of action. In this chapter, I took flight with PP Ephraim and got exposed to his Rotary expedition across the globe, in Jamaica and the Rotary Club of Kingston. The symbolism at the core of this chapter for me lies in the word of Ralph Waldo Emerson, which states, "Life is a succession of lessons which must be lived to be understood. These lessons are analogous to the versatility of the Mafala breadfruit tree and the transcendent message of Rotary's four-way test." PP Ephraim in his autobiography has intrinsically weaved a tapestry and shown that many stories matters. In closing, I repurpose the words of Nigerian author Chimamanda Adichie, who said, "Show a people as one thing, only one thing, over and over again, and that is what they become." PP Ephraim, the author, has shown quite movingly that we Rotarians are never one thing, but an intersection of many parts, and the Eye on the Prize holds meaning to continue reaching within ourselves to embrace our communities in need and build international goodwill. Chapter 10, the Rotary Club of Kingston, Service Above Self, is a delightful and memory-inspiring read. Congratulations, past President Ephraim.
The author is filled with pride when he relates the journeys of his mentees, too numerous to accommodate in chapter 12 of the book. Miss Tasha Campbell has become a household name as she continues her quest to be a medical doctor. It is my pleasure to invite the future Dr. Campbell to endorse her mentor via video.
Thank you, Mr. Moderator. Your Excellency, the Governor General of Jamaica, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. It is said that God puts people in our lives for a reason, some to learn lessons from, others to help you along the way, and others to make you realize how strong you really are. And this is something I've come to believe, as it could have only been God that's put Major White in my life, and his timing was impeccable. I started my journey towards success with a yearning dream, a dream to become a medical doctor. I knew what was required of me, but did I know how I was going to make it happen? I'm not sure I did. I grew up in Grants Mountain, a deep rural community in St. Anne, where my parents operated as small-scale farmers. My parents struggled to find the basic amenities and school supplies. However, I am eternally grateful for what they were able to provide. Throughout high school, I was financially challenged, and as my high school years concluded, I began to worry. Not because I realized that I've wasted my high school years, but because I had this burning desire to go much further. But I was apprehensive that my potentials might be silenced by poverty. So, not being able to finance my education and having recognized my willingness to persevere against all odds, my parents reached out to the Governor General, His Excellency Sir Patrick Allen, who extended his helping hand through the Governor General's Program of Excellence, the I Believe initiative, of which Major White was the national coordinator. I was surprisingly visited by Major White and his team on January 2nd in 2015 when he came bearing gifts of educational supplies. I was excited. God had sent help. So from henceforth, Major White's intervention in my life has been significant. His contributions towards the academic pursuit, the continued motivation to keep my eyes on the prize, and the reminders and reassurances that everything will work out even at my lowest. And the very way I am addressed whenever we have a telephone conversation, that is this Dr. Campbell speaking? So the confidence and belief that he has in me, even when I'm not there as yet. Major White has been and continues to be a propelling force in ensuring that my journey towards success is completed, and I am eternally grateful. Who would have thought that a poor girl like me, with only an immensely rich faith and determination, would have made it this far, enrolled in medical school, and on my way to finalizing studies? I'm glad I never gave up, and I'm even more overjoyed that Major White never gave up on me. I too am inspired to help others realize their potentials, just as how Major White helped me to realize mine. So happy belated birthday, Major White, and thank you very much.
Wow. Yeah, so the cat's out of the bag, Dad. Your birthday was yesterday, so we take this time to wish you a happy belated birthday. I hope you had an awesome day. It's been a great weekend. This is your present from all of us. After retiring from Air Jamaica and 47 years as an aviator in 2013, the author had the good fortune of being interviewed by the Honorable Earl Jarrett, Deputy Chairman and Chief Executive Officer of the Jamaica National Group Limited. It is my pleasure to invite Mr. J, as he's fondly known, to endorse the author who served in the JN Group indirectly and directly for 6 years.
Your Excellencies, the Most Honorable Sir Patrick Allen and the Most Honorable Lady Allen, our moderator, another Ephraim, this one, Ephraim Zamal, Ephraim sister Dorothy, other distinguished guests online, colleagues of Ephraim, speakers all. I earned the prize written by Major White in the first person is written against the background of his life spanning the period of colonialism and independent Jamaica. His life began with the nation's movement into self-government. Major White's book shares with the Jamaica the impact of solid parenting and the shaping of a positive identity in a young man growing up in a young country. Ephraim over the years always reminded me of his father's association with Marcus Garvey, and I'm certain that influenced him just a great deal. Ephraim, from his young days in high school, embraced the value of service above self. So Rotary was just an endorsement of that. He was a volunteer from early in life and was committed to the causes that he embraced. You have all seen the book speaks to his experience in the Cadet Force, a great, solid organization that helps to shape young people. And I'm certain Ephraim's life was transformed by his service to the cadet movement. The book gives us an insight into the man we now understand his purposefulness and intentionality. Ephraim on the ground was no different from the pilot, using different flight plans and altitude to get to his goal. The book reminds us of an experience he had flying on the southern coast of Manchester in a rescue mission where he had to take the helicopter below a certain altitude to get to his goal. That is the man that we know. That is the man who is so intentional with what he wants to do. And we have witnessed it in his work in the GGPE and in JN. Ephraim's path and mine crossed in 2014 as we both served the Governor General's program for excellence. And you have heard from Tasha Gay and many others of his impact on their lives. But not only did he impact the lives of the beneficiaries of the program, but Ephraim's intentionality came across in many different ways. It wasn't easy for some of us to accept the changes in the program when he requested that people write essays and things like that. And people were a little upset. But he was intentional in terms of trying to get the program moving to another level. And I think those changes were about for the positive impact on the program. After he completed that mission, his flight plan took him to the Jane Group, where he and others worked to create and develop a new program called the Jane Circles, which again was a program of service, trying to share with the Jamaican young people and people in general the value of good values and the value of good networks. And he worked to create a program which to some extent mimicked the Rotary movement, in that the Rotary movement, as you know, was founded in what, 1907, where men came together to learn from each other, to build experiences with each other, and to network for the further cause. And so, on reading the book, you will clearly see a flight plan developed by his parents, improved on by Ephraim himself, as he charted his life path. I'm pleased and privileged to have been a part of his life and service to Jamaica. Ephraim, congratulations.
Thank you, Honorable Earl Jarrett, and thank you all endorsers via video, message, or in person, who has really helped and shaped and honed, planted, worked along Dad's life journey as he came to this, milestone of event here. I want to especially thank JN Group for facilitating the Zoom. As you know, Zoom has become a huge part of everyone's life over the last 18 or so months. And we want to just, recognize JN Group for their generous facilitating of having this experience. So the 230 something number of people that are on the line across the world would be able to experience this today. Rotarian Dan McPherson is a past president of the Rotary Club of Camrose, Alberta, Canada. His club collaborated with the Rotary Club of Kingston, the Rotary Foundation District, and government entities to provide the JAD 21 million Jamaican dollars of medical equipment and supplies for the Bustamante Children's Hospital in Jamaica. The author agreed that twinning with Camrose was a no-brainer. Dan and the author are yet to meet in person. I actually saw Dan online as well here, but Dan is actually the editor of this book, Eyes on the Prize. So I invite past President Dan to endorse the work of the author in the following video message.
Thank you, Mr. Moderator. Your Excellencies, the Governor General and Lady Allen, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. And a special good afternoon to Ephraim. Congratulations on this great day. My relationship with Ephraim began on November 2nd, 2020. And for me, it started like any other day. I never knew it was going to be life-changing. But it seems like Ephraim has that thing about him that he does foster and change lives. I was the keynote speaker at our Rotary Club, and members of the Kingston Rotary Club had joined us for the online meeting. Now, I had just spent 8 years in the hospitality industry, and thanks to COVID, my career kind of had a life-changing change. I had to reinvent myself, and as keynote speaker for Rotary, it was my opportunity to introduce the Rotarians to Silver Quill Legacies. I was a journalist and writer for 20 years before getting into hospitality, and it was my way, as I said, to reinvent myself with a writing business, focusing on memoirs, autobiographies, and histories. Well, it just so happened that Mr. White, Major White, Ephraim, my friend, has just completed his stories, my stories they were called. And it just so happened he was looking for some assistance to polish them a bit. Well, here we are, 200 days later, 130 pages, 147 photographs, I think 15 chapters, and 55,000 words. We now have a published book, Eyes on the Prize. I can't tell you how excited I am, Ephraim, to share with you this great day, this achievement of publishing your memoirs. And it fills my heart with joy that we started out as working partners, and now I have a lifetime, long-time friend, and I feel like I've known you for years. Congratulations again, happy birthday, and enjoy the rest of this wonderful day.
Thank you, Dan. Okay, I can do this. So my father, grandfather to our children, the man that has taught my brother and I that if you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything. One of my personal mentors, and a mentor to many, as you've seen. A military man, a disciplinarian, a friend, a fellow Rotarian. He has spoken many times about committing his memoirs to a manuscript, and today is the fulfillment of this promise and the reality of this book. Ladies and gentlemen, it's my honor and privilege to invite my father, Major Retired Ephraim White, now an author, to share his journey, which allowed him to pen his stories, as well as to express how grateful he is about the experience. Major White.
Your Excellencies, the Most Honorable Sir Patrick Allen and Lady Allen, Honorable Earl Jarrett, endorsers, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. It is lovely to see so many persons present in honor of this special day, my book launch of all things. Who would have thunk it? Thank you all for supporting the event, and in particular, my son, Ephraim Zamal, for moderating. What a fabulous job you have done. A prouder dad you could not find. I am conscious that today is a book launch and not a regurgitation of what is already in the book, so I will not delve into the stories on the pages. That aside, I hope that when you get your copy, you will read it from the beginning to the end, and that you will find something that really matters to you personally. I must tell you, there is so much that did not make it to the book, to the pages. Every chapter could have been its own book, and that's no exaggeration. I have had a full life and so many lessons learned, and I have taken none of it for granted. Everyone I have met and or interacted with on this journey, including leaders in every phase of my life, IBI ambassadors and other youth, benefactors and my mentees especially, you have contributed to the blessed man that I am. You have strengthened my belief in this country more and more every day and the positive influences it has on this world. The many Jamaicans mentioned in the book gives testimony to this. If after this evening, any of you would like more information or insight on any part of the story read, please do not hesitate to engage me. If in reading it, you find something meaningful that helps you or someone you know keep their eyes on the prize, I am here for it. Beyond the launch today is also about how I came to write this book, or more importantly, why it needed to be written. For years, I've been requested, pleaded, and even cajoled to write my memoirs. This request intensified during my 4 years as National Coordinator for the Governor General's Program for Excellence, the GGPE. But even then, I honestly never took it that seriously. For sure, I've always shared my stories freely with anyone who cared to listen. These stories, however, were told in such a light-hearted way that I did not for a moment consider the seriousness of what they represented or could represent to others. I always knew what they meant to me. After relating to a group of serving and retired Jamaica Defense Force officers the successes of one of my mentees, you just heard from her earlier, one serving officer reminded me that he had met me at a Duke of Edinburgh Awards seminar at the University of the West Indies. And hearing this story of the mentee's accomplishments under dire circumstances, he urged me to, quote, put it in a book for your legacy, unquote. This conversation was on New Year's Eve 2019. On reaching home, I received an edited version of a TED Talk video by Nigerian novelist Chimamanda Adichie. She said that there were stories for every person, place, and thing. There was, however, a danger in the single story, which, if continuously repeated, it could take on a life of its own and the truth could never be known. She said, and I quote, "The consequence of the single story is that it robs people of dignity and makes our recognition of our humanity difficult," unquote. This statement resonated with me. I awoke at about 4:40 on New Year's Day, a little bit earlier than I normally, you all know I normally get awake. And this was now New Year's Day 2020, and I commenced writing my stories. It may have taken a while, but eventually, maybe listening with different ears and possibly seeing through different lenses, I had come to realize that my memoir could mean for others, particularly those from very humble beginnings, trying so hard to navigate what can be difficult and attest the world. The initial title, My Stories, was changed on the suggestion of Dan, my editor, we just heard from him, and fellow Rotarian. Dan said that it was a common thread in the testimonials of my mentees. They all said, "Major White always encouraged me to keep my eyes on the prize." Hence, the final book title, Eyes on the Prize. I am the publisher. The book is proudly printed in Jamaica by Phoenix Printer Limited and dedicated to my dearly departed parents, Eustace and Marjorie White. The purpose of the book is simply to share my life's journey, which has taken me from birth to retirement after over 50 years in private, military, and commercial aviation, Rotary, working with the GGPE, and Jamaica National Group. It should give hope to all, especially our youth, to realize their full God-given potential. Allow me to share an encounter this in the last 2 weeks that left a lasting impression on me. I visited the Kingston bookshop to deliver copies of the book. When I opened the door to my truck, the team member who came for the books remarked that the trolley he brought was unnecessary, as he was confident that he could and would hand carry them. I handed him the books and turned away to secure another package. he suddenly exclaimed in amazement and in our vernacular, "But sir, is not you that bought the book cover?" I was almost on the floor. He had moved many autobiographies from the car park into the store, but was meeting an author for the very first time, delivering his own books, no less. You see, not many things go unnoticed, but every encounter becomes part of the fabric of me. I am forever grateful for these experiences. The books are now available at the Kingston Bookshop, Sangster's bookstores, and on Amazon. Part proceeds of the book sales will go to the Rotary Foundation and Bethel Baptist Brotherhood outreach programs. Now it remains for me to thank a few people. I have had huge support from many over the years, and thanks and acknowledgements are in the book. I do, however, want to thank some people specifically for their contribution. Your Excellencies, Sir Patrick and Lady Allen, thank you for what is the GGP, and in particular the I Believe initiative. They shall remain a part of me. Thank you too, as well as the staff, for facilitating the venue and hosting this event. Thank you, Honorable Earl Jarrett, for approving the use of JN's group Zoom platform for all to participate this evening, as well as for the opportunities you also provided for me on my journey. Ms. Brianne Melana Brown, daughter of Trisha Guerre, for conceptualizing and producing this beautiful program we are guided by today. I'm sorry, Zoomers, you're unable to see the program, but it's really very posh. It's nice. To Ms. Trisha Greer for assisting with editing aspects of the book. When I reached out, she was there. Mr. Travolta Travis Alexander for the graphics and the book cover design. To Mr. Ronald Wallace, our videographer, Craig Williams, and Richard Nemard, members of his team. Mrs. Debbie Montgomery, the florist, for these beautiful arrangements. Special thanks to Ms. Lisa McLean, author and proofreader extraordinaire. To Mr. Andrew Lawrence, voice talent. That voice on the promo you might have heard. And some people thought it was Francois, some people thought it was someone else, but they didn't think it was me. But Andrew, thank you so much. To Miss Olivia Derrett, the non-professional video maker who produced her first professional promo video. I am both honored and so proud of you, Olivia. Olivia is an I Believe ambassador. I'm forever grateful to my fellow Rotarian, Director Carolyn Gardner, for coordinating this book launch. Thank you so much, my endorsers. You have made me very teary-eyed. I was holding up very well this morning when I was reviewing my remarks, and in came a telephone call. It was Mr. Donald Bogle, my former headmaster. Mr. Bogle is now 92 years old. He called me from Canada to wish me well. Finally, I would like to acknowledge a few people I intentionally left for the last. While so many have played such a significant role, without these, I would not have been here officially an author. To say you have been instrumental in the process would be far too understated. Mr. Dan McPherson, Rotarian, editor, and my brethren. Only 7 months you became a part of this picture, but what a gracious 7 months they have been. You literally took my hand and brought me across the finish line. In reflection, our meeting was timely, yet so coincidental. I have learned so much in the process. You are proof that deep relationships and friendships can start at any period in one's life. To my parents, who sadly passed away so many years ago, I am because they were. So captivating was their story. Many remain drawn to it to this day. I can only hope my own and the life that I have lived up to this moment would have made them proud. To my family, my wife, my sister, my children, including their spouses, and my dear grandchildren. You gave me the right balance of space and energy to accomplish my first published piece. I am so excited as much as I am overwhelmed. The milestone is as much yours as it is mine. I love you. It is written in the book of Hebrews. Now faith is confidence in what we hope for, and assurance about what we do not see. With faith, I have finally transformed my dream into reality. May we all be encouraged to keep our eyes on the prize. To God be the glory. Thank you for your attention. It is now my honor and privilege to ask Her Excellency, the Most Honorable Lady Allen, to unveil the cover of my book, Eyes on the Prize.
Ladies and gentlemen, it gives me great pleasure to unveil this book written by Major Ephraim White, Eyes on the Prize. And I ask that you now keep your eyes on the prize.
I feel equally honored and privileged to present a copy of my memoirs to you, Your Excellency, Sir Patrick. I wanted them to in front. Okay. Yes, sir. Thank you, Your Excellency.
Honorable Mr. Earl Jarrett, Chief Executive Officer, Jamaica National Group, Major Retired Ephraim White, author, Miss Dorothy White, other family members, friends, well-wishers, ladies and gentlemen joining us virtually. Good afternoon. It may be evening where you are. It's still afternoon here. I'm happy to share in what I consider to be a major achievement for Major White in publishing and sharing with others the theme by which he lived, keeping your eyes on the prize. He feels he has achieved that prize and is now ready to let us into the secret as to how he has done it and what he has learned during the process. Lady Ellen, the King's House staff, and myself warmly congratulate Major White on the production of this autobiographical work and trust that all who read it will be inspired by it. Major White's story reinforces the point that individual determination and strength of character are essential requirements for personal success. He graciously acknowledges those who inspired and contributed to his progress while remaining and reminding us that we have a responsibility to each other. John Donne is quoted as saying, "No man is an island. No man stands alone. Each man is my brother. Each man is my friend. We all need each other." The chapter of Eyes on the Prize, which chronicles Major White's leadership of the Governor General's Program for Excellence, gives valuable insight into how he was able to use that platform to positively impact many lives, to support educational initiatives, to broaden stakeholder engagement, and to build strong relationships with sponsors and beneficiaries. I'm so pleased that he was able to document how effectively he executed the mission of the GGPE to recognize and promote excellence while contributing to nation building. We thank Major White for bringing more cogency to the GGPE so that the I Believe initiative and the Governor General's program, or the Governor General's Achievement Awards, the GGAA and the IBI, are branches of the same tree. I thank you for your support, Major White, in strengthening both programs to using what is right with Jamaica to fix what is wrong with Jamaica. Ladies and gentlemen, this evening, Major White reminds us that whatever our goal or aspirations, we are to keep our eyes on the prize. Well done, Major White, and congratulations.
Everyone here today, thank you, Your Excellency. I really am indeed grateful. Everyone here today in this space at King's House and all of you online, I thank you for coming. I shall not forget today. It has been everything, but above all, the time spent has been my absolute pleasure, as I hope it has been for you too. I hope you'll enjoy the rest of the evening, and cheers. Thank you, Mr. Moderator.
Thank you, Major Retired FM White. So just as we close, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to give you some information that maybe you might have missed. The book is indeed available at Sangster's Bookshop, Kingston Bookshop, and it's also online through Amazon On Demand and Kindle. And we'll be remiss to share that part proceeds of the sale of the book will be given to the Rotary Foundation as well as the Bethel Outreach Program. Looks You want to come back and say something? Go ahead.
Yes, I'm sorry. A lady, I'm going to invite you to accept a small token of our appreciation for all the good you do and continue to do. And I wish to present you
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, again, thank you on behalf of the head table and our author, on behalf of His Excellencies, the Right Honorable Patrick Allen and Lady Allen, and Honorable Earl Jarrett, my aunt Dorothy Wright. We thank you for joining us here. This has been indeed a most memorable occasion. I have so many feelings happening inside. I'm not really sure how to deal with it. So we want to thank you for the evening. Thank you for joining. We release you back to your evening, and thanks for taking the time. Congratulations again, Dad. This is awesome. God bless everyone.